same object that is in the first image. Look at that. It looks exactly like that one in Indonesia, except this one has even more structures around. Look at the windows, and I mean, this craft is so large that it just, you can see it's just big and massive. I mean, I pan out and look at that. And you can see right there, you can see there are, other parts of the craft. I mean, you can see it clearly. There are other parts in that craft that is just amazing, man. We don't see this. Look, there is a tool, something that comes underneath. There is another one that goes vertical here. And right here is a hexagonal shape structure. And another one right here that goes like that. I mean, this is, wow, man, this is amazing. How the heck we don't know? I mean, why? Well, why not? NASA will never tell us a damn thing. That's all I can tell you. They are just denying and telling us all these beautiful stories. And this is what Dr. Berggruen showed, and sure enough, these are the Apollo 13 image of what happened to Apollo 13 was that he barely touched the magnetic field of one of these cylindrical objects, the EMV, electromagnetic vehicle. That's what Dr. Berggruen called them, and he's correct. And look, this cylindrical object is spraying some kind of fumes all over the moon. And this picture was taken by the same Apollo 13 that I showed the first picture. And look, they spraying this vapor stuff, and you cannot believe it. I mean, these objects are enormous. And he explained that in the book how they make the surfaces, they do the structures on top of the surface of planets and moons by using high plasma energy and then low current underneath by magnetic resonance, and they bubble up the structure in the shape they wanted to. That's why those moons or whatever they are, they do that, smell like burnt. Because that's what it was. They apply such intense heat that's the way they soften up the surface of whatever they're gonna work with. And then he showed Mars. That's nothing. He showed Mars how they spray. They imitate an astronaut here. This entity can imitate anything. And he pointed, the entities are right around this thing. You can see their faces. They're all around this deal. I mean, it's just incredible, man, that we are so naive. Look, this is Mars. This enormous cloud was sprayed on Mars. And he said I don't know, well, I guess because he worked for NASA and he was able to dig into the archives and found pictures that we will never ever see, and they will never see the day of light, no, in the public sector. But look, all the numbers that he's showing there, those are vehicles. all those vehicles. But if you look into the cloud, you can see pairs of eyes. It's like they're projecting already in that cloud, whatever that is. Whatever, they're spraying that for whatever reason. And so think about what are we looking at? We're looking at another reality. We are living in a holographic reality. There are several pictures from the Clementine that approaching, looking at Earth, and you can see structures on Earth that you see, well, what are those structures? They are enormous. No, we don't see them. We can't see them because our mind is being controlled by this structure that cocoon the Earth. The sky has a structure there that projects holographic images and control our brain, and that's why we're always at war. They feed off of that, the negative energy that we secrete when we are in extreme situations. Euphoria, anger, sadness, all that desperation, all that bad shit, they feed off of that. I mean, you cannot miss this. And look, that's Mars taking 8:52 p.m. in 1993 by the Mars Observer or whatever. MRO or something like that. One of the notes in 1993, that was another. But it's known. You go to the livingmoon.com, you will see that they show you not only a picture of the space station that is orbiting Mars since the 1980s, but they show you the blueprint, not only the picture, but the blueprint of it. How they got a hold on that, I don't know. But that's the secret space program, the real space program. They use anti-gravity, and the Apollo 11 landed on the moon using anti-gravity. That big old nozzle on the lunar module, that has no rocket motor. If you think about the size of that nozzle, you have to have a huge ass motor, and where the hell the motor is inside that thing? They wouldn't be able to move around in that small, that confined space. There is no rocket motor. I mean, you can't put a motor with all the astronauts in there. Shit, anything goes wrong with that motor, you're gonna have some dead people fried to death. And there is, sure enough, there is no motor, rocket motor anywhere. And it's not on the floor, because the floor, from the floor to the nozzle is barely any distance. So, and nobody asked that question. I mean, that's how dumb we are, man. We have been dormant because they use that electromagnetic energy to control our brains, not only from the entities, but now the military-industrial complex uses the same thing, of course, with a shitty technology, a lot less sophisticated than the one the entities use. But they project a holographic curtain in front of the moon. So when we use a telescope, all we see is a blurry shit, and everything looks flat. When the truth is not even close to that. The moon has peaks and valleys, in the part that we see, and on top of that, it rotates like a clock, not like a spin top like the Earth. And the astronomers keep telling us that the moon spins like Earth. That's not true, because they will be seeing the backside of the moon every single time. We don't. Why? Because it spins the wrong way. It spins like a clock. All we see is the same phase going around every day and every week and every month, and we never see the backside, so there is no such a thing as the north and the south pole of the moon. The north and the south pole of the moon will be either facing us or away from us, because that's how the thing rotates, like a freaking wheel. You know, like a spin top, you know, vertical. So anyway, this is the presentation of these enormous objects that we are not really seeing at all. Look at this one. This is even bigger than the freaking planet Saturn. Look how big. And not only that, but there is an enormous ring that goes over, that is like 5 times bigger than Saturn, thicker than Saturn, and that ring is only visible with infrared cameras. That's another thing that only recently I saw an article somewhere, and that was it. They didn't even talk about much about it. You never hear from that ever again. And this one was recorded with a cell phone from the monitor of the observatory that the guy working. He freaked out and he went and gave this to some people to put it out there, because you know they will kill him for talking, revealing all these deals. So think about it, man. We're living in a holographic world. Our life is really a holographic deal. And that's what this is about. This deal right here. Imagine that. We just can't even think. And nevertheless, this deal right here, this is like, wow, man, this is like the creme de la creme, the Bengal tiger in space, peeping through a hole in another reality. Check it out. That is freaky and a half. That thing is peeping through a hole from the fabric of a space, but it's not really space, it's a holographic projection. And that's the proof right there, the living proof. And that's really a structure. From far away, it looks almost like a Bengal tiger. But it's not. What you're seeing is a bunch of tools and you know, a machine. Well, somehow the holographic shit failed there, because you can see that thing is behind something, like the curtain of a theater. I mean, once you see these images, you have to really wake up to the realization that all we're seeing is a holographic projection. Look at that structure in space. Buildings, and I mean, this thing is resting on top of the roof or something. Some kind of a structure that goes into the depths, and you know, and there is a head right here with eyes, nose, mouth,